Hello, greetings to you all. If you are looking to travel this summer, this video is for you. When you actually plan your trip, one of the thing that is very important is the flight budget or the flight expense. When you're traveling, you have to keep that in mind. And many a times people go in to search for cheap flight. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about cheap flight and time. So sometimes you might be like in New York and you're trying to go to Nigeria and you're looking for a cheap flight. Usually our flights are put in an order, like you have one stop on the way, you have two stops, you have three stops, you have four stops, and so on and so forth. The flight with one stop is definitely more expensive than the flight with many stops, because that shows that you will delay on the way. When you go stop, you will spend few hours in that airport before the next flight would, you hop into the next flight. So that kind of delay means that you will reach your destination a few days after you started flying. But somebody who left and paid that one stop who must have arrived while you're still on the way, landing and taking off and landing and taking off in the name of cheap flight. But when you compare the two, you see that it's only either $100 more or even $50, not even much compared to the amount of time. And the thing about the idea of cheap flight that's not good is that as you're taking off and landing, right, you might miss your flight at some point along the way. For example, a guy left New York and then he was going to Nigeria. He came here at Dulles Airport in Dulles Airport, Washington here. So before he took the Ethiopian airline, and then we went to Ethiopia, and then from Ethiopia he did not go straight to Nigeria. They had to go to from Ethiopia they had to go to Cameroon before he leaves Cameroon and hop on another flight that heads to Nigeria. You see, several stops on the way, and it takes too much time. And I was sitting beside the guy. He's like, I'm so tired, I've been spending a lot of time on the way. I'm like, bro, sorry to hear that. Yeah, so just to save on some few $100s, you actually be going from country to country before you get to your destination. There's nothing wrong with your bag, because your bags are being sent directly to Nigeria, to their final destination, while you are the one going from point A to point B to point C, in the name of looking for cheap flight. Because the flight industry, except they purposely put put some discount out there for you to just pay and go. But if you want to take the flight with many stops, I don't think that's a cheap flight. They are just playing with you, because it's like, you hop in a car and they're going to pick passengers from different locations, and you're just sitting there like you don't care about time. If you're going for vacation, that you go back to work, and you have like 2 weeks and you spend 4 days flying and stopping and flying and stopping, in the end your vacation will be reduced to 10 days only, and you will be so exhausted when you get there. So the right way to plan things is to just have a credit card, because have a credit card that has enough money in there, and look for the best flight, either two stop or one stop to where you're going to, and then pay that flight and go. If there are some discounts, then maybe you have to check in with actually when purchasing, a flight agent, somebody who might tell you that, look, there are some available discount or discount coupons that when you put, it doesn't increase the amount of stops that you have on the way, because stopping and flying, it's not cool at all. Like, you spend, It's like you're going to somewhere and you don't care when you arrive, but it's actually very stressful rather than just taking a flight that will, if you're traveling, let's say you're traveling from Washington DC to Cameroon and you take Ethiopia Airline. From here, from Dulles Airport, you go straight to Ethiopia, and from Ethiopia you go straight to Cameroon. One stop on the way. That's fair. But if you have to stop several places, or you take a flight that's not going direct, you take some flight that's going to take you to, let's say, France. From France you go stop somewhere else, from somewhere else before you end up coming. That's just too much. That airline might be a little better and things like that, but you are being taken to just far distant places before you end up getting to your location. And when you miss your flight, they might arrange a next flight for you, and it might be the next day, and you have to sleep in a hotel or somewhere, and you spend money along the way in the name of looking for a cheap flight. So you just need to improve on your budgeting and just plan well. If you're saving money, just save enough money. Just estimate and have a good range of the price you're looking for, and just pay the best, the least amount of stop time. If not one stop, maybe two stops. That's okay. 3 to 4 to 5 stops is just too much. And flights are generally just expensive, and there's no way around it. They're just playing you with time in the name of cheap flight, and they just mess around with you, and in the end you'll not even feel happy flying in those type of flight because they're so stressful by changing and going up and down. Sometimes your hand luggage might even get missing or things. And when you get to your final destination, you'll be looking for stuff and you cannot find. So good luck as you travel, and swipe your card and go have fun, and hopefully come back. Bye bye. Subscribe and check my other videos.